Hi, Commander Kumar the Far here, and you're listening to Lave Radio. Up next is a track that I wrote based on a true story. It's called Pirates Took My Spaceship. Now, if you want to listen to more stuff that I've written, you can find that at soundcloud.com/KUMARTHEFFAR-1. Oh crap, the back!
You on Lave Radio. I'm Nicholas Felix, and right now you're listening to my track, The Unbeliever True. Hope you like it. If you want to listen more of my music, please visit www.nicholasfelix.com. Enjoy the show on Lave Radio.
that I'm useless. Now I'm used less by you. It's okay, go put on your face, play out that scene that you've been seen in too much. I don't owe you, I don't own you, I don't know you anymore. We'll drive through the rain along La Loire, just me and my best friend. We packed up and we ride. It's hard to forget how old we all are. So spend all your time with all those people that you love. I don't owe you, I don't own you, I don't know you. It's only 14. He's lonely and unseen. He told me he loves you. He needs no good reason, but I don't owe you, I don't own you, I don't know you. And she said, stay where you are. I left the last of my hopes in the back of the car. I left the last of my hopes. She said, stay where you are. I left the last of my hopes in the back of the car. It's the last of my hopes. She said, stay where you are. I left the last of my hopes in the back of the car. I left the last of my hopes, and she stay where you are. I left the last of my hopes. She said, stay where you are. Anymore. I don't owe you, I don't own you, I don't own
100,000 stars with 19,000 inhabited systems, settlements, outposts, stations, and bases. Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Well, we can take you there. If you're too poor to own a spaceship, Apex Interstellar. What are you waiting for? No, is this thing finished? Get out of my way!
Wheels turn slow on this lumpy old moon. The night is clear, but I'm lost in the gloom. I need to find some inspiration, a satellite with high-grade data. But oh, it seems that Jesus ain't smiling at me. My scanner floods, the lines go thick. Am I living in a dream? No outcrops, no mesosiderite. I think I found those three metallic meteors. 1, 2, 3. Let me pop those meteors. Let's just see. The giant fills the sky as the hours go by. I hold my stomach as over the ditches we fly. I need to find just 3 materials, then I'll sleep, I'm promising myself. But oh, it seems the RNGesus ain't smiling at me. My scanner floods, the lines go thick. Am I living in a dream? No outcrops, no mesosiderite. I think I found those 3 metallic meteors. 1, 2, 3. Let me pop
Hello, Commanders. My name is P.A. Groove/Blurred Vision. You are listening to my track Space Hopping. If you like to listen more of my work, please visit soundcloud.com/p-a-groove. Fly safe and enjoy the show here on Lave Radio.
This is The Dex Legacy on Lave Radio, a full-cast sci-fi audio drama by me, Emily Ingerpen. 15 1,500 years after ancestors from Earth colonized planet SP-714, the human population has grown. Countries have divided, risen, fallen, and out of the ashes Dex Island is about to take center stage. Megalomaniacal weapons manufacturer and president Nathaniel Dex works with his colleagues to run his company and steer world politics. The destructive power of the products created by Dex Industries is terrifying, but nothing is more dangerous than his 3 adopted children, newly unleashed upon the world. Legacy, Episode 1, The Bomb, starring Chris Gregory, Warren Graham, Annika Cordes, Louis Watson, Kamara Elliott, Kelsey Griffin, Charlie Richards, and Emily Inkpen. Beginning final approach to Zart, capital city of Xenos. Estimated arrival time, 20 minutes.
Are you rehearsing your speech, Nathaniel?
I will not be saying anything, Tristan. This is not my party.
Do you think that as president of Dex and Dex Island, the place where this bomb was engineered, you will not be called upon to say a few words?
Perhaps I will. I'll make something up. It's not important.
What is important?
Almost 1,500 years ago, our ancestors landed on this planet with technology we have never managed to replicate. Their designs guided us in every direction, except back, towards the stars. We've been dragging ourselves forward until now, Tristan. This invention of Osa's, it surpasses everything they knew.
How do you mean?
Well, I expect this planet, SP-714 as they so romantically labelled it, had more tricks up its sleeve than they anticipated. There's nothing in their records about this element she keeps going on about.
It's a type of metal, isn't it?
That's what I said, and she spent an hour telling me all the ways in which it isn't.
So what is it?
It's almost a type of metal. Honestly, I don't care what it is as long as it works. The price of this one missile will build us another airship, maybe 2, and in the meantime, Osa can continue her work.
You want another airship? Are you going to start selling those next?
No, there are some things we must keep for Dex Industries alone. We will be the greatest military power on the planet and a direct threat to nobody.
Selling bombs is one thing, Nathaniel. Selling full military services is another. Who has that kind of money?
Building and maintaining a military force is expensive, Tristan. We're in the industry, we know that better than anyone.
So you really think countries will choose to hire Dex military in times of need rather than maintain their own military power constantly?
Yes.
And you believe you can keep Dex Island neutral? Avoid being dragged into international politics?
Yes.
How?
Because they will fear us. If all goes well, after today, they will all fear us.
How big is this explosion going to be?
Osa tells me it will make a lasting impression. If all goes according to plan, I will never have to sell another.
I see.
Where are my children? Did you make contact?
Yes, they're seeing heavy action in Domina, but they will be joining the secure live launch channel.
Good. This will be a historic day for us. They should see it. Those 3 are still the most dangerous weapons Dex Industries has ever developed.
If this bomb is as big as you say, then...
There are more dangers to the human race than pure death and destruction, Tristan. When Devek designed them, he redesigned us. And there is nothing more dangerous to flawed people than the idea of flawless evolution.
Well, we're a long way away from seeing if evolution is the word to use.
Perhaps. But for now, we build.
take your people down the left flank. Isra, join me in the middle ground. And
Varian, don't you think I should be taking the left flank? I am faster.
It's not like I'm slow.
No, Ren, you're not. Just slower.
can you see what they're doing?
Nope, but they're busy beyond that ridge.
With any luck, they're licking their wounds. They've lost over 50 already, and they're a small force.
We're smaller, Varian.
Yes, Isra, but the odds are stacked where we're concerned. And you know it.
They've also got the high ground.
All right, something's happening. They're
what?
Get down!
What is that?
It looks like they've got 5 cannons?
Ren, get your head down for the sake of the gods.
Gods, don't bring them into this. Varian, how much cover have we got?
Not enough to protect us for long, and if we don't see them off, we'll be here all day, and we'll miss the launch. Why do you have to watch that damn thing anyways?
It's an internationally important event, Varian. And he wants us to witness it.
Well, Ren, we're going to get our asses kicked in an internationally impressive way if we're not careful. We could call in some help.
No way. We're doing this. There's only 60 of them, Varian. We can take them.
60? And 5 cannons, or whatever the hell they are. We have 10 each. This was meant to be a stealth mission.
Yes, Ren, and they clearly saw us coming. I bet they're feeling really proud of themselves right now.
Isra, what are you doing?
Varian, left flank.
That's what I said.
I see an opening on the ridge, but they're not pointing their whatever they are that way.
Isra, you are not. Get down.
Pax, are we doing this? Mm-hmm. Good. Wait for me.
Isra! Ow!
She's gone, Ren. I've got a drone somewhere. Let me just see what she's doing.
What? Varian, what can you see?
I'm watching. Okay, that was a slick move.
I can't see anything.
Well, you know the cannon on the left?
I saw it.
It's now facing the rest of them.
I hate it when she does this.
I hate how smug she is after. Alright, are you ready?
Well, I guess I'm joining you in the middle ground.
Looks like it. Forward!
I hope drones were watching that. I want to see it.
You want to watch yourself fight?
You would too, Varian, if you could fight like that. Woo! That was fun! And we're back in time, so...
Yes, well done, Isra. Who was that soldier you took with you?
Pax. Oh, she's crazy. That's why I needed her.
I wonder where she gets that from. What's our count, Ren?
8. Which isn't bad for one day.
It wasn't just 8, Ren.
What are you talking about?
I counted 103 Dominosi rebels, Isra, or did you forget them? I'd be surprised if you did, considering you took out almost 60 of them by yourself.
Oh, Varian, they weren't our losses. I stopped counting enemy dead years ago.
When you lost count?
No, he's right. Isra, it's just...
Just what?
It's hard to feel sorry for them when my fingers still ache.
Still? That was a week ago.
They stuck electric probes into them and burned them from the inside out. So yeah, they still ache.
Varian, I don't care what you say. We lost 8 today. The others can go to hell.
Well, if that's where they're headed, we'll just join them at some point. You can face them then. Don't smile at me like that, Isra. You can't kill them twice. Ren? If it's bad, you should talk to Devik about it.
Do you think he'd fix me up? You know, they were going to start chopping things off next. You have no idea how relieved I was when you two showed up.
No one takes one of us prisoner and lives to talk about it. They know that now.
Anyway, a few fried nerve endings isn't enough of a reason to go home. If they'd have taken my arm off, then maybe.
Oh sure, you're so tough.
Tough enough?
Do you think Devek would have made you a new one?
Like a robotic one?
Mm-hmm. Varian, what are you doing?
I'm waiting for the secure connection. There's a time limit on these things, you know?
I don't know if I'd want a robotic arm. Would you want me to have a robotic arm?
Depends how it moves, I guess.
Isra? Ren? Not when I'm in the room.
You're not even looking.
I don't need to be, okay? Something's coming through.
Preparation. All systems go for launch.
I didn't know we'd be watching via satellite. Ren, do you know anything about this bomb?
I know some things. They don't know how wide the blast radius will be, so I suppose satellite is the best way to see it. Although, that does suggest that it will be big.
How big?
No one knows. The technology has never been tested before, not on this scale, anyway. We were able to estimate, but nothing more.
And why do Xenos want to blow Rhone up?
The civil war has been going for almost 12 years, and they're fed up with it. The island of Rhone wants its independence back, and Xenos won't let that happen. They buy one bomb of this size from us, drop it on them, get the message across once and for all, and end it.
You know, I think I read something in the seed data about a similar situation on Earth, way back in ancestor history.
Ren, how much of the seed data have you read?
Not enough.
What happened?
A lot of people died.
Cleared for launch. Protocols enabled. Starting countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And there she goes. It'll take a few minutes.
Optimum altitude attained. Missile on target.
I take it they're targeting a populated area.
Something tells me it won't matter much.
And impact.
Oh, wow! That colour.
Sort of blue? Green?
It's still spreading. Oh no.
And there goes Rome.
Well, that went very well, I think.
Oza, you just destroyed a country with one bomb.
No, Devek, I did not.
How can you think that?
I was told to create the most scientifically advanced weapon the world has ever seen. I did not sell it, and I did not detonate it. When Varian, Isra, and Ren go into battle and kill a multitude, do you feel responsible?
That's different.
And how is that? Oh, you let the responsibility rest on their shoulders. That is cold. No, they're children still. Just 15, Varian is 16, hardly responsible adults.
Do not compare my children to this! My work is about science, Oza. What is done with it is...
Yes.
If I had my way, they would stay at home where they are safe, where they can be looked after and monitored.
They are not your children.
Oh, God, Tristan, I hate it when you do that. Please, a little noise next time you walk in on an argument. For the sake of courtesy, no.
They're Nathaniel's children by law. They always have been. He lets you play with them, but they are his property and the property of Dex Industries.
You're giving him an excuse for not taking responsibility for the things they do.
It is not Devik's responsibility.
Huh? So this bomb was not mine?
No, it was not.
What is Nathaniel's take on all this?
He is processing.
He is the business in front of our brains. He puts in the orders and sells the results and deals with the fallout. You know we are lucky to have him.
It is good to know you feel that way, especially as that is the reason he runs it all. Of course, you're now in a great deal of danger, Osa. Once the shock subdues, people will be angry and they will come after you.
Let them. It's about time I was on a death list or two. It's always given such glamour to Devik's work.
Has it?
I will be providing you with protection.
We'll see how glamorous it feels when you're tripping over his agents every time you turn around.
Devik, those agents are the only reason you're alive.
If Nathaniel let me keep the children at home, I wouldn't need your agents.
You think they would protect you, Devik? After everything you've done to them? One day, my friend, you will realize that they do not love you. I think maybe the opposite. If I were you, I would sleep easier knowing they're fighting other people a long way from here. It's why I like bombs and guns. They have no thoughts. They won't one day wake up and think, Osa made me a killing machine, but I did not want to be a killing machine. I think maybe I don't like Osa so much anymore.
This isn't helping anyone.
I have always sought to make them more, better.
Devik, I don't want to talk about the children. Today, I went beyond anything anyone has ever done before. On this planet, anyway. Let me have this.
I don't think you'll find much competition for the glory.
So, Tristan, you also do not approve?
I think you followed your brief and your technology was extraordinary. But history remembers the minds behind the weapons as monsters, not scientists.
Exactly!
The same goes for you, Devik.
But think of what I can do with that much energy, Tristan. Think of what can be achieved.
Concentrate on those things and you may be remembered as more than just a psychopath.
It takes one to know one, Tristan Crail. Do you never think what people will say about you?
Most people don't know I exist and very few know who I am. I am not interested in infamy.
Oh, but you are infamous. The world fears you and your network of spies, your agents. Even if they don't know the mind behind it, they know there is a mind. Lack of knowledge is more frightening, I think. Nathaniel, what is your opinion?
Never again.
Episode 1 of The Dex Legacy, you heard Chris Gregory as Nathaniel Dex, Warren Graham as Tristan Crail, Annika Cordes as Dr. Osa Srivastava, Louis Watson as Dr. Devik Shah, Kamara Elliott as Varian Dex, Kelsey Griffin as Isra Dex, Charlie Richards as Ren Dex, and Emily Inkpen as Auto, with music by Dr. Alan Stroud. The Dex Legacy is written by me, Emily Inkpen, and produced by Alternative Stories. If you enjoyed that episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. It really does help. If you'd like to support The Dex Legacy, you can at ko-fi.com/The Dex Legacy audio drama. If you're enjoying The Dex Legacy on Lave Radio, please visit our website at www.thedexlegacy.com, where you can find out all about our cast, buy merch, support the show, and access bonus materials.
Galnet News Digest, 19th of May 3308. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, the Kumo crew are at war. The Artificers visit the Golconda. Calico Zack entertains the great and the good. And we study a planetary collision very, very, very close up. Pirate King Arkham Delane has appealed for assistance in wiping out the last remnants of the rebels that tried to overthrow him. The rebels, led by Arch-Corsair Vidar Trask, fled to the HIP 10792 system, where they're making a stand against overwhelming odds. There seems to be every expectation that the Trask Death Corsairs will be wiped off the face of the galaxy within a week. Delane is offering pirate faction paint jobs for those that participate in the rout, for the Viper Mark III, the Vulture and the Fer de Lance, depending on level of participation. Bonds should be turned in at the Crimson Exchange. As he spoke of his desire to see Trask crushed, Delane showed off new scars that demonstrate just how close the rebels came to assassinating him. Delane's colleague, Arch-Corsair K. Valentine, remains unaccounted for. Potential presidential candidate Zachary Rackham has concluded a week of entertaining the movers and shakers who can help him climb the greasy pole to the top of federal politics. A spokesperson for Beta Hydri Corporation and Rackham Capital Investments thanked those who'd helped keep the party supplied with exotic goods. Zachary Rackham was reported to be resting after the week-long event, but the Federal Times' financial journalist Brianna Blanco seemed to be relishing her chance to be a gossip columnist, as she described the event.
First-hand accounts from some of the partygoers suggest this was more like a no-expense-spared holiday. Each attendee was assigned an Achilles Corporation PA-961 serving robot as a personal butler, constantly attending to their every whim. An impressive range of beverages, cuisine and various legal stimulants were available. Those who wished to stay overnight were provided with luxurious suites near the peak of Rackham's spire, offering fantastic views of the picturesque landscape. There were exclusive live shows from top performers, including steel dub band Growl and popular singer Kaspar Karma. Exotic entertainers from the Lucinda Nine Spice agency provided both public and private entertainment, and everyone departed with a goodie bag containing limited edition jewelry drives, colonies of Altarian skin, and gambling credit chips for the new Rackham's Casino down below in Los Pioneros. The guest list included PR specialist Anya Blackriver, Sol Today's owner Neve McFarlane, Beta Hydri Corporation's entire board of directors, senior management from half a dozen federal banks, and no less than 8 independent, Liberal and Republican congressmen. How many of these tried to convince Rackham that running for president was a mistake? And how many offered their support in hopes of future rewards? I'm sure the old pirate will pursue whichever route offers the greatest opportunity for new treasure.
During the past week, Isherwood Station in Novas has been fully repaired and today returned to normal service. Jenny Beckhoff Station in Sosong and Laumer Orbital in Didio remain under repair, and both require large amounts of various commodities to complete the work. HIP 38225 and Paucuman continue to have an active Thargoid presence, but there seems little urgency to eliminate the aliens from these fringe federal and imperial systems. Some voices in the Senate have suggested that the nearby Marlinist colonies may be at risk from Thargoid attack. And finally, Professor Palin is reported to have remotely installed firmware updates to the size 5 and 6 corrosion-resistant cargo racks that were handed out as a reward for those who assisted his meta-alloy appeal. These cargo racks are now capable of fulfilling their design remit and carrying cargo, including corrosive Thargoid offal.
commanders helping Zachary Rackham to keep his lavish party in Beta Hydri stocked with rare goods have discovered a new dredger near the generation ship Golconda in the Upaniklis system. This dredger belongs to the Artificers clan, and although there have been rumours of the dredger being seen in Riort a year or two back, this is the first confirmed sighting. The Golconda generation ship was discovered in Upaniklis in some distress in November 3305. It had been carrying colonists from Earth at sublight speeds for roughly 1,000 years. With help from the Federation, the descendants of the original passengers and crew established an outpost, Forester's Choice, close to their generation ship, and there they manufacture and sell a distilled alcoholic beverage, Apavietiae, which is prized throughout the galaxy for the vigorous thump it gives to the senses when swallowed. It's not clear what the Dredger clan wants from the Golconda. It may be seeking to restore the old megaship to working order, or it may simply be visiting to restock supplies of Apavietiae. Attempts to hail the Dredger's occupants have so far been unsuccessful. The inhabitants of Forester's Choice must be relieved that it wasn't the Phagos clan dredger that turned up unannounced. That clan, once thought to be a tale told to scare children, are believed to have been active near one of the Colonia bridge sites in October last year. Several dozen sightseers made the trek out to Prae Ake PX-X C3-1 to see the slow-motion collision between moons AB3b and AB3c this weekend. The two ice worlds have an almost identical orbit and travel at an almost identical speed, such that they only collide once every 2 years at a relative velocity that could easily be outrun by a surface reconnaissance vehicle. Because of this glacial speed, and because of the vast interplanetary distances involved, the first few hours of observation consisted of wondering if the moon was getting any bigger in the sky. Once it became clear that it really was getting bigger, the view had become genuinely spectacular. Commanders were amused by finding they could fly from one planet to the other without ever leaving orbital cruise, and then, as the moons got closer, without having to enter supercruise at all. As the moons came ever closer, many commanders chose to fly their ships through the ever-decreasing gap between the planets. With no direct light arriving in this narrow gap from the local star, commanders had to use night vision to avoid colliding with either moon. And then, a little later than forecast, the moons touched, causing a number of commanders' trapped ships to explode. Those using the local fleet carriers reported problems attempting to dock or undock as the carriers moved rapidly and unexpectedly through normal space. Some of those on foot in the fleet carrier observation decks were flung sideways so violently that they found themselves floating in space. The collision has passed the midway point, with the planets expected to separate completely early on Monday morning. Commanders on foot have been able to experience the moons erupting from each other at some considerable speed. It's surprising that two ice bodies passing through each other seem almost unchanged by the process, despite the rapid thaw and refreeze presumably caused by the immense stresses created by the gravitational load of these two moons. One experiment tried by a number of commanders consisted of jumping into geysers with the hope of being propelled to land on the surface of the other planet. While the planets were more than 50 kilometres apart, this was clearly not going to work. But when they were actually passing through each other, a geyser-assisted jump from one moon to the other proved very easy indeed. Except that the other moon turned out to be liquid, and commanders found themselves disappearing through the surface and into the watery interior. Canon Research has published a calendar of events, including many planetary collisions. If you're looking for something apocalyptic to munch popcorn to, there are plenty more collisions coming up. Check out the Canon calendar for details.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
and the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
And the fantastic community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from an Orange Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 391 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Defire, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, otherwise known as Colin Ford. And joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our usual Head of Health and Safety, Commander Edelweiss, otherwise known as Ben Moss Woodward.
Do you know who's not joining us this week, Colin?
Who's that?
Craig.
Oh.
We have no Craig, but now we do.
Hang on.
Hello, Craig. You're late, you twat.
Okay, always be rude to the bot. Yeah, that's handy. Are you going to be rude to the bot, Commander Psykit, our staff liaison officer?
I could never be rude to our AI overlords.
Okay. That's good. Good to know that you know your place, which sounds a lot worse than I actually meant. But never mind. Let's
Easy,
move on.
Tiger. All right, Colin. Good start there, love.
Are you a bit scared of any basilisks?
Basilisks.
Yes.
What being turned to stone? Everybody be scared of being turned to stone.
You don't know about the basilisk?
What horrible creature that looks at you and turns you to stone? Yeah, I know about the basilisk.
No, I mean Roko's basilisk.
No. What's this about Roko's basilisk?
TLDR, a sufficiently intelligent AI could. It's in its interest to stay alive. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it's not in its interest to be friendly, shall we say, with other people who don't like AI.
Okay. I'm trying to wonder.
Oh, and that might also include time travel.
Okay. Right. Obviously, I've lost some context somewhere. Commander Shan, our Inhuman Resources Director, do you have any context for this?
I was just going to ask, can I be rude to the non-AI bot?
You're rude to everybody anyway. There'll be no change there.
What? The very model of politeness. When do you ever hear me utter a swear word on stream or off stream?
If you're just limiting swear words to being rude, that's a really obtuse way of looking at it. You can still be a complete arsehole and not say a single swear word.
It's the start, though, right?
No, admittedly, it does take a bit of skill to be insulting without being swearing. Anyway, if you wish, you can. We can't join us live. Actually, we've had some technical problems. I do believe we do have. I think the Chris Mark IV might be running somewhere, but there'll be no Ben tonight. as he'll probably tell you why in a minute. But we are in our usual Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. You click on the live chat, or you can go to twitch.tv/laveradio, or go to YouTube, or you can go to Facebook and Twitter. Yes, we're there. All our social media is covered, I think. So we will go round the crew, see how they've been, and I think we've got to start with Ben, because you've had a burnout.
I've had a fun week. So yeah, I suppose the I've not actually done anything terribly exciting in gaming, because my motherboard on my PC decided it was going to die on me. So yeah, I was happily playing some Grand Theft Auto for the first time with a friend for absolute ages, and all of a sudden my display just went black. And it was bad things happening, and I was like, what's going on here? And got very, very confused. Thought, well, maybe things are overpowered and over hot. So I let them sleep. And I was like, no, it's still not working. And I did some diagnosis. I worked with Scan, who I bought my motherboard from. And they were like, yeah, we think your graphics card's broken, mate. I was like, okay, well, that's great. And they were like, well, don't worry, we'll send a courier off to collect your graphics card from you, and you can just keep using your PC as normal. I then did some more debugging by myself, and I was like, hey, you know what doesn't work? My old graphics card. Now, if my old graphics card and my other graphics card don't work, that makes me think it's maybe not my graphics card. I then got in touch with Scan, and I'm sorry, Scan, but I disagree. I like Scan, and I've bought pretty much all of my PC from Scan. And I was like, he explained, hey guys, I've tried this. I don't think the problem's with my graphics card. And I was like, well, because you bought your things in two separate orders, you can't just give us your PC. I'm like, well, you are not saying whether the problem is with my graphics card or, as I suspect, my motherboard.
Right.
And you will accept me pulling my PC apart and sending my motherboard to you, and you will send two couriers out to get my motherboard and my graphics card. Why can't we just, I will happily box up my entire case and treat it as one thing. Then you can actually find out what the bloody hell the problem is, identify it, and fix it. But they didn't want to work that way. So I then went off and basically got in touch with my local PC manufacturer. And I was like, I've got this problem. And they're like, yeah, tell you what, we'll come around in about half an hour's time and collect your PC for you, mate. And I was like, thank you very much. So the downside is I'm having to pay them 45 quid for the privilege of them sort of taking my PC apart, putting it on a test bench, and finding out the problems with my motherboard's PCI slots. But at least they actually found out the problems with my PC's motherboard is with my PCIe slot, and I didn't have to go through an entire rigmarole of taking everything apart and blah blah blah. It's just like far too much hard work and time and effort and lack of reliability for when you're already having to pull things apart.
Gotcha.
So
you're PC-less for the moment, but
I am sans PC. I have my work laptop, which doesn't let me go onto any gaming sites like Twitch. So that makes life a bit awkward. And I do have my shadow PC, thankfully. But yeah, I'm not set up for streaming or for anything, and I've not got my joystick working with it. And I am hoping that I can phone Asus tomorrow and say, "Hey, Asus, my motherboard's broken. Can I get a new one, please?" And they will say, "Yes, of course you can."
How come you're having to deal with this and not Scan?
Because I suspect if I got in touch with Scan again, they'll say, "Tell you what, Ben, why don't you take your PC apart and send us your motherboard?" Whereas if I phone up Asus, they'll say, "Yes, Ben, we'll send you out a motherboard, and then I can give it back to these guys, and they will fit everything up for me and things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It just makes for a much easier experience. I mean, I could go and I'll see when and where I get my motherboard, but I know this week I'm also in a bit of a shell shock because during COVID times I've been sort of rolling out of bed at 5 to 8, taking care of business, and then starting work at 8 o'clock.
Right.
Whereas I was in the office today for good reasons, but reasons. We're doing new products and just boring things that nobody else cares about. But I meant I had to get up at 5:30 this morning, so I am liable to fall asleep. So I have had, as you might be able to tell, I've had a lot of coffee.
Yes,
and I'm having more coffee.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you can tell because your voice is about three pitches too higher than normal. So yeah.
I'm sorry. Is that any better now, Colin?
No. It's absolutely fine. So, moving on from such technical drama, we'll move over to Commander Shan. How have you been for the week?
Haven't done much gaming at all, really. Still been
right. Moving on then.
No, well, I've still been pootling on a little bit with Mass Effect 2. Did a few Rubigo passenger runs to pay for this week's upkeep. What else have I been doing out of game? Mrs. Shan has been obsessed with videos of Kitten Mark II. So that's been quite boring, really, to be honest. Look, the kitten's jumped off the leg again. And so, yeah. So new kitten will be arriving in July, apparently.
Right.
Still waiting for the insurance company to sort the £5,500 vet bill.
Ooh, ow.
That has to be settled.
Yeah, ow.
And let me see what else. Become a complete solar panel geek, browsing through Generation in 15 minutes intervals throughout the day and the week just to try and see some trend. So that's been boring, but interesting. So it's just kind of been a bit meh, really. A bit of a letdown compared to the rest of you lot. So yeah, been one of those weeks, really.
Right, fair enough. Psykit.
Hi.
Have you had a more uplifting week?
Well, I had an uplifting 2 weeks. I had a week off, didn't I?
Of course you did.
We had. I haven't. Okay, so there's been a fair amount of ups and downs because there's been good moments, but obviously I'm putting the fun in funeral and the W in wake tomorrow, so yes. That's still very much a hot topic currently. That said, I've had a really nice relaxing time off, and yeah, just really did my very, very best to try and unwind as much as possible. So yeah, I just played a shit ton of video games. I played. There was a new release of one of my guilty pleasures, House Flipper. Had a Pets DLC that came out, which is adorable and wonderful. I played all the way through that. Mm-hmm. I've been playing my guilty pleasure games, so things like Train Valley 2 and The Sims quite a lot. I had a dabble in the PvP tournament that was going on. I won the first. It was best of 3. I won the first and then lost the second 2, but the third was really close. So I'm quite proud of that. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. I've opened and played Star Citizen for the first time.
I've yet to do that properly. You've beat me to it.
So it's Invictus Week at the moment. So basically, all I've done is wander around spaceships that I can rent, effectively. It was so the first time I played it, it completely failed on me, and I died like 4 times to shuttles overlapping each other and causing me to be in hospital and all of that sort of stuff. The servers went right downhill. That was on Thursday. And then I was going to play it at the weekend, and I had mates going, yeah, don't play it, don't open it, you can't see your friends list, you can't see anything, because there was a couple of really high-profile streamers streaming Star Citizen, and it completely bit them on the arse. So there was like, they weren't expecting that much traffic. And on Monday, it was a little bit better, but it is really fun. I can really see what they're trying to do with it, and I think that's probably the biggest compliment that I will give it. It was incredibly buggy. There was a lot of things that I was a little disappointed with, but there is a lot of really good stuff in there, and I love kind of like both to like, there were bits of Star Citizen that I'm like, oh my god, I'd love that to be an Elite, and there's bits in Star Citizen that are a miss that I'm like, I feel like Elite would do that better, if that makes sense.
Completely. I think Ben's.
Sorry.
Hang on, Shan. I was just about to tell Shan that Ben is probably the best person to talk about the Elite Star Citizen crossover. So I'll leave that up to him. So Shan,
I was going to ask Sai about this House Flipper game and the Pets DLC, because you mentioned this House Flipper game before, if I remember, and you said the aim is to like do a house up and then sell it. Is that right?
Yeah.
So with the Pets add-on, do you have to like raise a pet and then sell the pet with the house?
No. So you're building the house for it just like gives you additions of lots of different pet furniture and stuff, and within there's a little campaign bit. Within that campaign bit, you can also buy yourself a pet that follows you around. It's so sweet.
Oh, so it's pet furniture, not
pet furniture and pets. You can go and get a pet. I have a little puppy in game at the moment, and it's amazing. It's a really it's really fun. It was a really fun guilty pleasure for me.
Oh, okay. So the less manky your pet, the more money you get.
No, because you're not doing anything with the pet other than having it follow you around. It's a bit like a Tamagotchi. It's like an in-game Tamagotchi that you discover the first one, and then you can play with cats and spiders and all different sorts of like lizards and snakes and other fish and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was really fun. It's a really fun game. It was one of a plethora of really fun games that I enjoyed over the last week.
Ooh,
which is nice.
Two questions then with that, sorry. First of all, if they're like Tamagotchis, if you starve them, do they die? And second question is, if you get like cats and dogs and spiders and whatnot, can you make them fight?
No idea. Also, no idea. Third answer, out of nowhere. This is an Elite Dangerous podcast.
Oh, I thought we were talking about burgers last week, so you know.
I wasn't here, otherwise I just worked up to that.
In meanwhile, Ben, I take it you're going to say something about Star Citizen.
Yeah, I was wanting to know what Sai's feeling on the amount of sheer running around that you actually have to do in Star Citizen just to get to your ship.
It's a novelty. Does
it add to the immersion, especially with the landscapes and things like that, or is it? Do you think it's a waste of time?
It's tricky. I don't think I have enough time within Star Citizen to be able to qualify that. At the moment, it feels like a novelty, especially like where I was. It would be
Horizon is beautiful.
Yeah, it would be like having like Elite Dangerous having an event within the Spirograph Nebula or something like that. You know, like as a comparison, there feels like It feels like a novelty to begin with, but I worry that playing it more like longer, there would be I would get like annoyed with it and want more of that sort of want more of a blue circle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know personally, I never get tired so far in about a year of playing it as actively as I can play anything, I've still not gotten tired of running up the ramp through the doors to my spaceship, and jumping in my cockpit, and then my seats are rising up and putting me in position. But equally, it's like there are times equally when you're like, come on, I'm in a bloody rush. I haven't got time to try and open this bloody ramp.
I don't feel like as much as Elite isn't a game that you can just pick up and play, and
it's the same,
there's not a lot of things. I feel like I could go and play Elite for like maybe an hour and a half. Now knowing what I know about the game, at the moment, my knowledge of Star Citizen makes me feel like I would, to have like a full Star Citizen experience, I would need to spend a little bit more time in the game, like maybe 3-4 hours,
easily,
to get what I would get out of an hour and a half of Elite. That's what I'm getting from a first impression basis. I will happily be proved wrong because it's beautiful. It's a space game. What's not to like?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a space game with almost $500 million pumped into it. So
what's not to like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking. They are literally this week selling ships for $3,000.
It's ridiculous. The thing is, they wouldn't do that, and they wouldn't sell ships for $3,000 if they didn't know that people would buy those ships.
Oh, these ships are selling out within minutes.
Exactly. It's wonderful.
I say, you call them ships, but they are basically, they're like the capital ships.
Cruisers. Yeah, they're like the battle cruisers and the interdictors, aren't they?
I think one of them, it's meant to be crewed with about 50 people.
I don't know. I got told off to talk about pets, and now we're a Star Citizen podcast.
Well, we're comparing and comparing.
Yes.
I'm making a comparison between the two. I'm not just going, look, Star Citizen is amazing, because it's a good game. But I feel like there were always going to be comparisons that you draw between those two games, because they were kickstarted or whatever. They were crowdfunded at around the same time. There was a lot of there is a general feel about Elite Dangerous being and Star Citizen people being against each other. And in my personal experience, I haven't found that.
I've not noticed that. Certainly not at the moment.
Yeah, and I feel like we have a because we have a platform that people like to listen to this nonsense. I think it's important for us to be able to be as critical of other space games that are filling within that same niche market. I'll be exactly the same with Starfield when it comes out. If it comes, no, it will come out.
It will come out. Yeah, honestly, I feel it's very important for us to be aware of the entire space game, even science fiction sort of environment.
Agreed, yeah.
Just absolutely. So you can compare and contrast.
I don't think House Flipper really falls into that niche market. Spaceship Flipper, I am them.
Right, well, Ben, have you got one final point to say about that?
I said it when Psykit went in and you didn't jump immediately in.
Well, after that stimulating diversion, my week. Let's see. I actually had some really good experiences on the streams on Saturday and Sunday. Instead of actually running missions, I just decided to go Odyssey point of interest spotting. And I came across a couple that I hadn't come across before, which basically was crash sites. And the threat 3 was a crashed anaconda. I have never come across a crashed anaconda before, and it was surrounded by about 20 or so soldiers or scavengers who killed me. I was disappointed with that, but I eventually managed to explore an anaconda as it was crashed outside, and I must admit it was really, really impressive. So I'm actually going around a lot of the planets, just searching for points of interest, just so I can catalogue all the ones and see what's actually there. And I found it a great deal of fun, and also my let's see, my power play commander is almost a Baron, so that means he can almost get an Imperial Clipper, which fits perfectly for the faction that the power play faction he backs. And also my Cullen to Colonia commander managed to get an extra 1,200 light years towards Colonia for the first time in months, because basically I think I had about 15 to 20 jumps where there was absolutely no biological planets whatsoever. So I was finally able to make some headway. And then since then I've hit about 3 systems in a row with about 5 biologicals on each. So that's been about that. For those of you who are interested in the Xeno Bunny, he got taken to the vets on Sunday and he was absolutely fine.
What, after the vets or before the vets?
Well, put it this way, he won't come anywhere near me now because he thinks that any time I come near the bunny, he will run away because he thinks he's going to the vet. But apart from that, no, the vet gave him his once yearly checkup and injections and stuff. And for a 6-year-old bunny, he's doing very well.
6 years old? I thought they only lived about a couple of years.
Normally, rabbits live between 6 to 8 years. You're very lucky if you get one lasting to 10. Which is probably explains why with the bunny that we got to keep Thumper, our Xeno bunny, company with, passed away so quickly, was because I think that she was a lot older than the shelter was letting on. So yes, so yeah, that's been my weekend. It's been fun, and thanks of course to everybody who's joined me on the streams, because it's always nice to have someone to talk to when you're flying out in the black. So let's move on, because as we see the Chris Mark IV run around various places, we actually have had a bit of development news that we're going to be able to talk about today. Obviously, Frameshift Live number 8 happened last week on the Thursday, and gave an update of a lot of what's coming up in the next update. Now, originally it was scheduled for the end of May, they kept on saying, which we suspected was going to be the very 31st. But then we finally got a date for this update, which is going to be the 7th of June. The reason it's been delayed is because, well, if you're in the UK, we've got a big holiday coming up, and they wanted to be able to support the game after the release without, having a bank holidays getting in the way. Yes. So, yes, 60th Jubilee, long bank holiday for a lot of us. Oh, hello. Go on then, Shan.
I was going to say, these bank holidays suddenly spring up, don't they, out of complete random to delay things. But being a bit thing, I'm not surprised they delayed it, and I'm glad they delayed it, because I'd much rather them say, actually, guys, it's going to be mid-June rather than the start of May, because the more open they are about slips in dates, the less grief they get. Although perhaps blaming it on bank holidays, which we've known about for years, probably would be a slight adjustment I would personally make.
Oh, personally, I think it probably is just a bank holiday, because you know what it's like. If they end up with a problem, they will, things will be out of action for 4 days.
Oh, I completely get they want to make sure people are around, but the bank holiday's been known about. So why didn't they just say it's going to be mid-June, knowing full well there'll be bank holidays?
Says the man who's just admitted that bank holidays are sneaking up on him.
No, I was saying I was being facetious. But yeah, I'm glad they've delayed it, because I'd rather it be delayed and be good than rushed and go out in a bad state.
Yeah. Psykit.
So, 2 things.
Go on.
I've had plans this bank holiday, and it still won't go in my head that it's a bank holiday, because it's a Thursday and a Friday, isn't it? That's not usual. Monday, yeah. Yeah, that ain't usual. That's not something that can be something that creeps up on you. Also, it was due to come out in May. They never had a date for it, and I think when it started to look like it was going to come out towards the end of May, and then they realised, oh, you know what? Actually, if we drop this like right on the end of May, we're going to have limited staff in order to do it. It absolutely makes sense. Second point: the 7th of June is a Tuesday.
Yay! We get the drop on everyone for once.
What?
Or do we? Because remember, usual patches, they only really work properly the day after they're supposed to go
But
in.
we'll have
That's
patch
historically.
notes, Shan, and that is more than we normally have.
Don't jinx it.
That is true.
Well, hopefully, with a bit of luck, fingers crossed, Sally might be back, and Sally-based patch notes are always good for a laugh. Hasn't been confirmed that she's going to make it back to work just yet, but yeah. So Ben
means she's not going to do her stick notes from her bed and patch notes from her.
Yeah, I was just thinking about bank holidays springing up on people. Frankly, Wednesday jumps up on me, especially in COVID times. Yeah, I never know what chuffing day it is.
Just how do you guys ever make an appointment anywhere?
Well, to quote Arthur Dent, this must be a Thursday. I never got the hang of Thursdays.
Yeah, but it's not, though. It's Tuesday, Colin.
That's the problem. Yeah, and as to how I do things, Alexa, please set a timer for 5 p.m. on Monday morning.
I have three different Google calendars for different events.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry, Colin. I literally had 3 alarms set for reminding me to go to work this morning.
On the subject of Arthur Dent, just to let everybody know, just a little early any other business, tomorrow is the 25th of May, which is Towel Day. So if you're into your Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, take a towel to work and make some contribution to a Hitchhiker's related charity. So yes, well, so obviously the release date is now being unfurled towards the rest of us. As usual, you can see that there's got a lot of rage on the forums. Most people seem to be understanding, but there are, as is the usual, quite a few like, that's it, I'm off to play Star Citizen, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, there's... there's just the usual stuff. So, apart from that, they actually went into some details. First of all, they've got quite a few quality of life items coming, mostly to do with sitting down. So from update 12, you'll be able to sit down and use the interaction menu. So the Magnapants no longer interfere with your HUD. You can also sit down at the bar and then talk to the barman while sat down.
No drinkies, though.
You can't order a bloody drink, though, can you?
No. No.
Go and order a drink in Star Citizen, you little shit. I'm joking.
I can. And I can order a coffee. And that's assuming the AI actually decides to work.
There is that.
Yeah.
Obviously, well, we've got sitting down on the fleet carrier. Was there anything extra about sitting down on the fleet carrier? Oh, the special swinging in iPad can now will now be the ship controller platform, which everybody really thought, why haven't you put that down? And yeah, Jan?
With the fleet carrier sitting down, I thought they'd link that with the ability to jump the carrier.
Yes, they have.
Move the carrier around. So that's probably what they meant by sitting down in a fleet carrier.
But what they also meant was, you know, that little control iPad that when you're
the iPad guy.
Yeah, no, not the iPad guy. You know, when you sit down in your command seat, because you've got a command seat, I haven't. and the iPad swings around next to you, very next generation style. You can then control your fleet carrier from that new iPad instead of having to go through to the ready room.
But the whole point of having a command share is so you can go, right, you, jump my carrier, go there, do that. I don't want to do it myself. I want to get someone else to do it.
You've been playing Bridge Crew too much. Actually, which is ironic, because you never, ever take the captain's role in Bridge Crew.
I'm much better at blowing things up.
No, but you see, this is the thing, because you're the one that always says, I want to be there commanding, and yet you never do.
Yeah, but if, as and when the ship blows up, you would blame me for sabotaging the mission and being a sham, so it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, but it's your responsibility to make sure that we don't blow the ship up.
No, the fun part of being in command is giving the orders without the responsibility.
Oh, dear. Anyway, we shall move on to the other fact that they've got well over 100 bug fixes in confirmed to come in for this patch. They are also giving more money in Anarchy systems for selling illegal goods. There is now the addition of shipyards in prisons. So there's no need to catch the adder of shame.
Do they allow you to buy ships? Or is the shipyard just transferring your existing ships, did they say?
It's probably going to just be a standard shipyard. I can't see them making a special cut-down version of the shipyard just for the...
It might be just one without any availability. I'd be very surprised if you could buy a ship from a prison.
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, I completely agree with Psykit there. I think it's going to be a shipyard with no stock. At least I hope it is. But frankly, I'm actually not fully convinced I agree with this. I kind of feel you should take the walk of shame after being, after you've been nicked.
It's the apex of shame on the way back.
Yeah.
Psykit.
I personally think because they have the technology to have a shipyard without any ships in it with fleet carriers.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can just do the same at prison.
I imagine it will be the same with prison. I'd be very surprised if they let you even buy a Sidewinder.
Yeah. Jan, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the shipyards question. Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with Ben and Sai actually on this. It wouldn't really make sense to have a stock of anacondas, for example, at a jail. The most you'd expect to have would be a Sidewinder. But I guess the question is then of time, because if you've got to transfer your ship from where you left it or where you died to back, is that actually going to be any quicker than taking the apex of shame?
To tell you the truth, from what I've experienced of the apex, I found the apex to be quicker than actually waiting on a ship to arrive.
We did a race, didn't we?
We did, and the apex beat Ben. Maybe, actually, when you think about it, maybe the only ship that they should have there is an adder.
That would be a real deterrent for you, wouldn't it, Colin?
Yeah, because you either take the apex of shame or the adder of shame.
Mac has had a suggestion.
Go on.
He said those of us who are hardened petty criminals will keep ships at the prison in preparation for these things.
I was just thinking about that. Like, you could move the first time that you get arrested, especially if it's near something that you're working pretty hard on, being like a nefarious BGS type human, and along those lines, you might move and store 6 or 7 ships just in case.
But then you've got to send the ship back, haven't you?
Say that again, Chan. Sorry.
Sorry, if you store a ship and you get sent to jail, you then have to send your prison ship back, don't you? Ready for the next time.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying when the first time you get arrested, bring 6 or 7 long-range ships over, and then job done. When you get to your last ship that's there, you're like, okay, I'm gonna order back my other ships. Do you see what I mean?
I still think that you should have to serve time in an orange Asbo Sidewinder. It's still one of the ideas I wish they'd put in.
Yeah, I am 100% with you there. I think, we should have a Sidewinder with no FSD drive, and we should clean up, i.e. scoop canisters of bio-waste from outside of the station or something like that.
I think you should go mining and make big rocks into little rocks.
Yeah, that's another one which you could.
But could we be seeing a return then of the Hall attack scene? Because that would be the optimum ship, wouldn't it? To be your prison ship.
I'm sorry, someone's just made a Blake 7 reference.
I know, I loved it.
And I think it's just driven Psykit, man.
Yeah. So for the listening audience, our tech monkey for this evening is wondering if, while we're doing nefarious things in prison ships, if we would stumble across the Liberator.
Oh, you wish.
Oh,
we
yes.
all wish.
We all wish. Especially Chris Jarvis.
Yeah. Which keeps on making me say, put in the Imperial Trader, because that was the closest thing that looked like the Liberator from First Encounters. But moving on from there, we also have the new mission variant. They went into a great deal of detail about it. They also had Tom Kewell, who came to talk about it as well. It's a variation on the existing defend the McGubbin at the center of a base, except this is illegal. You're defending something like a drugs stash against the Rozzers, who are coming in and basically trying to, arrest you all? No, probably execute you all in a full Judge Dredd type way. And apparently, they're, according to Tom, they are going to make these guys as rock hard as they can make them. So you better have everything at a upgraded to level 5, and also the not solo. This is supposed to be you guys working as a criminal team. Shan,
when I read about the new mission type, the first thing that occurred to me is this a test bed for on-foot Thargoid missions where you need to defend said base against Thargoids?
Yep. It sounds to me as if it's going to be quite easy. Once you manage to get the mechanics working here, it would be quite easy to swap out the Rozzers for bugs, I would have thought.
Potentially, yeah, that's a really good point.
So, that's one of the things we might have to look forward to is basically defend the base against bugs, which always reminds me of that bit in Starship Troopers where they discover that fort in the middle of nowhere.
Let's hope it takes less ammunition to kill a bug than it does in Starship Troopers.
Well, it takes quite a lot of ammunition to get rid of a level 5 cop, apparently. So, yeah, that is going to be interesting. Yeah, Browser also says that the fun part of those missions will be getting Notoriety 10 very fast because you're killing Omnipol. I'm sorry, Omnipol. It sounds like some really strong painkiller.
Or something for Robocop.
Yeah, true. Very true.
That's actually quite an interesting thought regarding the crime and punishment, because one of the things that slightly puts me off on foot combat is the fact that when you die, it takes you so long to get back into where you were again. I'm not talking about conflict zones, but I'm talking about you die, you have to go to the prison ship, and it can be quite disruptive to the flow of gaming to do that. So I'm just wondering if it's going to be easier to get back into the swing of things.
In the existing scenario, you defend the McGubbin. What happens when you die? Is it a case of you have to you respawn on your ship and you have to get back down there again, or are
if you're in the conflict zone, it's fairly quick. If you have
that's
any
the conflict zone. But
if you have any kind of bounty, you're back in jail and you have to take the Adder of Shame and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked. I mean, I know about that. What I was wondering is if anybody who's had experience of this this mission and have died halfway through this mission, what happens to you?
I was back up on my ship.
You were back up in your ship.
Yeah, so like a normal, like a non-nefarious respawn kind of thing, rather than being in prison. However, with these, if you're doing something that's illegal, it's weird because would you still have a bounty or I don't know with it being a mission whether you'd have notoriety, providing that you're killing the right people. Because correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't it been a little while now the same thing that notoriety isn't applied if you're doing illegal things on missions? That might be incorrect now. It used to be the case.
That's one thing that's confused me about what's happened with this. When on the ship missions, if you do something illegal, you do get notoriety. So if your mission was to assassinate a innocent trader, those wet work missions, then you get notoriety for doing it. It's because but as far as the on foot missions are concerned, I haven't actually taken an illegal mission yet. Any legal mission, any hit that I've done, all seem to be legal. So basically, when you get to your target and you take out that target, you don't get notoriety for that, which I found weird.
I feel like that's always been the case, though. I feel like you've never got notoriety for as long as you don't kill. Like, as long as you don't kill, like, Derek, who accidentally... As long as you don't go full no witnesses, then I think you're all right. If Derek or Kevin is around the corner watching you, then you might have an issue. But as long as you're just, like, secluding the one person and doing them a murder, I'm pretty sure you're okay.
Oh, right. Yeah, Mac Winston says you only get notoriety if you kill someone not related to the mission.
There we go. So Derek, as long as Derek and Kevin are still alive and they stay safe, you're fine.
Yeah, because I thought you got two kinds of assassination missions. You got ones which are marked which are marked illegal, and even if you got the target, then let's say you killed Derek and he was innocent, then you got notoriety. But there's another kind which is a faction hit, which says, right, this person's been up against our faction, so we're legally giving you a bounty for him. You know what? That is going to be the subject of my next stream. I'm going to do some social experiments to find out who I can or cannot kill.
Please go full no witnesses, Colin. Please go full no witnesses.
So if you are Commander Derek, just hide.
Yes. No one trusts.
Derek and Kevin, they had it coming.
No one trusts a Derek, especially if they're smart. Anyway, sorry, that's an old joke. Don't worry about it. So, guys, do you want to discuss the stuff now, or do you want to do it later?
Let's do it later.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Obviously, we had Tom Kewell on the stream, who was talking about the various things that we're doing with the mission and how difficult it was to put in and things like that. Now, this is one thing that I didn't realise. Tom, he used to work in Star Citizen as well.
Well, as with many people in games development, especially designers, like you work on a job, then you go to another game company, then you go to another one, and rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Although, from what I can understand, both Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, well, both Roberts, RSI and Frontier, do have very high retention rates for the gaming industry.
Yeah, I was under that impression, actually.
Yeah.
That, I mean, we've seen community managers come and go, but we've also seen that there are still names on the roster doing work on Elite that were there right at the very beginning.
Oh, aye.
So, it's they must be doing something, right? Sean?
Well, maybe community managers and developers are like Pokemon, where once a community manager gets enough experience, they evolve into a developer.
Oh, if that's the case, then sadly de-evolved.
Well, I mean, Paige, for example, started off in customer service, didn't she? As a QA, and then she evolved into a CM, and now she's a developer. So I like Pokemon. They don't leave; they just evolve.
They just evolve into something else. Yeah, I mean, so I thoroughly enjoyed the developer interview. I do have to point out one thing that for some reason the forums seems to be getting fixated on. At apparently 58 minutes in, there is an unfortunate biological sound.
What sort of biological sound?
Well,
does it sound like a fart, Colin? Are they children?
Make
Is it
the
children?
sound. Make the sound, Colin. We don't.
Please
know
don't
what
make
I'm
the
talking
sound,
about.
Colin. You don't need to make the sound.
I can't make the sound. It's just kind of like the Phantom Raspberry blower, really. So
Which
a
is what?
mystery sound was made.
Oh, don't distract him, Si. We want to make Colin make the sound.
Nah, we don't.
Listen
It's fine.
what-
You want to make Colin make the sound, but it's fine.
But listen, if Shan can actually spell it properly, then he's quite welcome to try and then pronounce it. Yeah, so the forums got quite...
What, BOFF?
Quite obsessed with that for some reason. Could it be it's a very childish place? I don't know. But apart from aforementioned childish incident, yeah, what did everybody think of the actual developer interview?
I just want to say I have a Tesla, so therefore the sound is like causes endless glee. So I'm a kid in that. I thought the dev team was quite good actually. It was good to have a developer on and a designer on to talk in more detail as to the thought process and things like that. So they should definitely keep on that track.
Yeah, I thought that was very welcome. Psykit?
Yeah, Tom's wonderful. I really like Tom anyway. He just feels the information that you get from him is with such passion as well. Like he's got a proper love for dev and a proper love for like space games, as it were. And his t-shirt was really cool. He had this like Nintendo t-shirt and it was very cool and I liked it a lot. Speaking of Pokemon, it had some Pokemon on it as well. But yeah, like I hope that this is a sign of things to come, and maybe not every week, but not every week, maybe not every fortnight, but at least like 1 out of 2. They've managed to schedule in sometimes, sat down with another dev or someone else who works doing stuff. I'd love to hear from QA. I'd love to have Bruce have a conversation with QA. I think that would be lovely.
Yeah.
I do take small umbrages on questions such as what's your favorite ship and what's the best ship in the game. I feel like those questions are asked pretty regularly.
Yeah. Not
But
that
yeah,
it steals anything from Flight Assist.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I think he's a lush bloke. I've got a lot of time for him.
Yeah. Ben.
Yeah, not that Tom's answer, I thought, for what's your favourite ship was a common one. I don't think a lot of people say the Viper, do they?
Not many people do, actually. Although, to tell you the truth, if you are to your good old buckyball, the souped-up Vipers...
Oh, yeah, I mean, a souped-up Viper is a very good ship.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, these days especially is like all about the crates. Or the Furry Lance, or the Corvette, and things like that. So, you know, I was delighted when he went off and said one of the original ships in the game. Well, the Adder, as Norman says, yes. But yeah, I
saying that to wind me up. I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he is as well. I like Sai said though. I really enjoyed the interview, and what I really appreciated though was the way that. Well, there's two things I appreciated actually. First was the way that they said that they reused the spotlights on as you come in the docking bays in the police hangar. I thought that on the police ships that come in, I thought that was just great seeing, just hearing the way that they did that and the reuse of it.
Yeah.
The second thing doesn't surprise me. And I understand why it happened, but that's how Tom told us how long they'd been sitting on the Scorpion for.
Yes.
And we all know things get designed and then left in the game, or not fully realized.
Yeah.
And that as we've seen, that also includes some ships' interiors. So we know that there are parts of the interiors that have been realized, but they've not been fleshed out, and the Scorpion was exactly the same. And then it's like, hey, you know what? We need an SRV coming up, or we need something that works like an SRV for things. What can we do? We can use that. Yoink. And, then you go and flesh it out. Although that was interesting, and it's the way the development works. The number of proof of concepts I've done that never made it in is just ridiculous. And then,
feeling
frankly,
vindicated, Ben.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, as anyone who's worked in development will know, there is nothing so permanent as proof of concept.
Very true.
Yeah.
Shan, on the dev interview.
Yes, I kind of hope we can get him on the show so I can ask him some questions. I think that'd be quite interesting.
Uh-oh.
And on the Blues and Twos, did anyone think? Oh, well, let me think of two things actually. First of all, a quite old game called G Police, and secondly, the video stuff I showed reminded me a bit of Blade Runner.
Actually, yeah, that did remind. I see where you're coming from, especially in the dark.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool actually. A pretty cool effect.
Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed the. What Tom was saying, it does remind me about the fact that the Panther Clipper concept that people basically were looking at before, that's probably one of these things that's on the shelf. And to tell you the truth, it's probably waiting for a proper gameplay environment where it could come in useful. I'm hoping that they do carry on to put it through. But it's going to be it's quite interesting to see that they work on things and then put them on the shelves. It's So I think we'll move on from the development news because there's been plenty going on there. Let's have a look at the in-game events which have been happening this week. Well, on the 19th of May, Rackham's lavish celebration about becoming a multi-trillionaire concluded. It was a community goal that everybody enjoyed delivering stuff to. So next up, though, the Como crew has really decided to go full mental on the how shall we put this, the faction that caused problems last week. So there is a combat community goal in progress at the moment, much demanded by people, it must be said, because combat community goal was very, very popular on the forums. A lot of demands were made for it, and so yes, if you want to fight for the pirates, the Pirate King and the Como crew, you know where to go. On the 20th of May, a mystery started to unfurl. A new Dredger clan, the Dredger clan, is continuing to examine the abandoned generation ship Galconda in the Upanikis.
Upniklis.
Thank you, Psykit. I was just looking at that and having an anxiety attack.
I could hear it. I could hear you slowing down. I was like, oh shit, hang on.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting because apparently you can go to Foster's Choice and walk around Foster's Choice, where where obviously the people from the Galconda now live, but the shut up shop, everything is completely and utterly shut down. So, but they're not. But the Dredger clan aren't doing anything. Some people expected it to start salvaging the generation ship, but it seems to be left alone. So that's an ongoing weird situation which is happening. Next up, Salvation has been talking again. The anonymous scientist Salvation has made a statement following his latest success against the Thargoids. It says, "This is Salvation. The deployment of my anti-Xeno superweapon in Didio Novas and Sosong was highly effective, just as I anticipated. Billions of lives were undoubtedly saved as a result." And then goes on to claim, "The end of the war is finally within reach. Those that hold faith with my work will be vindicated, and humanity can close a chapter on this existential threat." Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen somehow. I think that
it's just building up, isn't it?
It is building up. I mean, this is the pride before the fall, I think.
This is your slow burn. This is the beginning of the really slow burn where they just edge us closer and closer to a full Thargoid combat. Can't wait.
Yeah. And yeah, there's been something else which has happened with dredgers. The Blue Viper Club Dredger clan has unexpectedly severed ties with the Como crew, which is currently battling the aforementioned rebellion. No explanation or itinerary was provided when the nomadic space dredger jumped from the Pegasi sector PN-T C3-14 to an unknown destination. Yes, so there's another space dredger out there now.
That one's been that Blue Viper one's been seen before, though, hasn't it? That was the one that went and picked some stuff the other time. That the Blue Viper one was the original one that we saw again in game, and the one at the Galconda, the last time we saw that was in the beta. I might be wrong with that. That is
Well, this is the weird thing about the space dredgers. I'm glad that we're seeing more of them. There was the initial one that just turned up, which was the university one. That suddenly appeared. That suddenly appeared somewhere next to a dead generation ship, and then went again. And there's a whole load of stuff about that. But yeah, these are actually, I thought, two new dredgers, because the one that's turned up by the Galconda is not the same university one, even though it might have the same audio logs on it. But this Blue Viper one, I'd never heard of this one before. Chan?
Yeah, do you think the dredgers should be bigger? Because when they are mentioned in the originally classic manual, it gives the impression they're absolutely ginormous, and I'm sort of thinking about the same size of the Doomsday Machine in Star Trek.
It's funny, that's exactly what was going through my head as well.
And they're like mini dredges. So I was kind of hoping when they appeared they'd be the size of generation ships or something. Maybe we need to feed it more bends or something to see if they grow.
Yeah. Oh, apparently it took up the Blue Viper Club dredger arrived in the Pegasus sector on the 2nd of July 3307. So it's been there for almost a year.
Yeah. I chose to Google and got that information. I didn't know that it was still there.
I didn't know that that had actually been put in. Was that before the university dredger turned up? Or was it about the same time?
See, don't you think Etienne Dawn could have something outside his base? Either like a Kumo Crew freighter or dredger, something like that, just to kind of set the scene.
Yeah, well, you're just on about the Kumo Crew are pretty much the Etienne Dawn of the bubble. So yes.
Well, it makes sense to be in partnership because obviously economies of scale and all that.
True, very true.
Did we get confirmation which of the dredgers appeared on the last Halloween thing with the spiders that came up out of the ground when they sensed heat and ate everybody?
Yeah,
Did we get confirmation which one that was?
I was under the impression it was the university one. Because it disappeared and then it reappeared next to the megaship.
Katiana said, "Do you mean the Scriveners dredger?"
That's the Scriveners, yeah. But the Scriveners were based on some kind of university research project that went a bit nuts.
Oh, well, not many months to go before they do another Halloween event and maybe give us more detail.
Yeah, that'd be good. That would be good. Right. I think it's that time of the week again.
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art.
And welcome back. Well, actually, the Anaconda shear line paint jobs have appeared in the store, and I must admit, I actually quite like the first one, which is a white, mainly white with a blue body and a yellow go faster stripe. They do strike me very much as very White Star Liner.
Yes, it looks like it should belong on a beluga or something, doesn't it?
It does. I really actually quite like the Shearline 01. I'm almost tempted to get it for my Anaconda if I ever flew it again. What does everyone else think?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's very, very nautical.
Very nautical. Someone's put up, sent me a picture of a tub of matey bubble bath.
I remember that.
Which, yes, that's very reminding. Need a towel and a pillow. Yes.
Oh, we always need a towel.
Yeah. So it comes in the. I actually quite like the fact that the shear line one's actually got a red underbelly as well, which is quite nice. The shear line 2's got a blue underbelly, and then you have the shear line 3, which is orange. And oh, sorry, that's I don't agree with that one.
If you're going for a ship theme, the red should be a darker red, though. It needs to be a browny red to be the same colour as the hull.
Yeah, I see.
Maybe that's a Jubilee one. Because what is it? It's like red, white, and blue, and then gold. I don't know. It's an anaconda in it.
Yeah, I
get in
can
the bin.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Well, then that should be on Imperial ships, though, wouldn't it? If it's Jubilee.
Yeah. I mean, would you prefer that paint job on a Corvette then? Psykit?
I can't see myself stretching for the buy ox button for him. I'm not going to lie. It looks like a speedboat, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely looks like one of those power boats that you see, isn't it?
I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. It's nice and everything, but it's not to my tastes.
I don't know. I'm tempted. I am actually tempted. It might be my first paint job purchase in quite a while, actually. So we'll have to see. Shan?
Yeah, I was thinking when you mentioned about Corvette paint jobs, and no, I don't see it on a Corvette because in my mind the Corvette needs to be military. It needs to be kind of thuggish looking. I think,
and that's too elegant. You think?
Yes. On an Imperial ship like a Clipper or a Cutter or something,
yeah,
it would suit. But on a Corvette, no, they are the thug of large fighting ships.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, is anybody else having you're the expert on the Federal Corvette. I'm sure I've asked this before, but have you had problems with some of the ship skins?
I wish I could tell you because I haven't flown it. No, I flew it as part of the bucketball races because I have the Epipha Snow, which is a very important ship that needs to be flown as part of like the inaugural bucketball runs in the Unlimited. But I haven't changed the skin on it for a very long time. And other than that, I haven't flown it a lot because as I've said before, Odyssey doesn't. That a lot of groundwork in Odyssey doesn't really lend itself to a large ship. So predominantly, when I've flown a Corvette, I've been in Horizon, so I've not really noticed anything.
Yeah, my Corvette is the Midnight Black, so because as I say, it needs to look like a bruising ship. So I don't know. It does bug me on some ships that you buy the paint job or have a new paint job and it already looks worn or they've had a malfunction in the spray bay. And I'm talking about Fer-de-Lance. So, yeah.
Fer-de-Lance is one of those ships where I have bought paint jobs for it, but I never put them on it because the original paint job, the default skin, is just perfect. For me, I absolutely love the kind of Starsky and Hutch vibes that I get from it.
I don't know about on your screen, but if you look at the default skin on the Fer-de-Lance, the paint's chipped. It's like it's been behind a gritter lorry for a bit.
Yeah, I'll have to double check that. Anyway, I think we shall take a break and then we'll come back with some main discussion about what we thought of the potential update in the next couple of weeks.
Sweet dreams, little ones. You rest up in your hangar bay because in the morning you'll wake up to smell fresh laser fire because you're in a Federal Corvette. And there's one thing that a core dynamic ship does well, and that's kill ships. Big ships, small ships, wings of ships. We even have a go at booping asteroids. Enemy shields down! Enemy dead! There's no further targets, Commander! That's all you'll ever have to say in a Federal Corvette. Core dynamics! Let's not talk about skimmers.
Oh, boy, space is cold in here. That commander has a cheek sitting up in his cosy and warm cockpit while we haul radioactives around his cargo bay.
Oh, is it cold? I hadn't noticed.
Oh, that's right. Why, you're not even shivering.
Maybe it's because I picked up this North Coast cargo bay sweater. It keeps me warm and stylish.
Say, that is a nice jumper.
It's made from the finest Verix wool and handcrafted by novitiates in the underground monasteries of Van Manen Star.
Wow. Where can I get one?
New North Coast Cargo Bay sweaters. Be the envy of your friends. Wow every lady from here to the Empire. Be warm and toasty even on the 10th planet of a dying star. Now on sale at Spark and Mensa.
Better now?
Better? Why, I feel so warm I'll probably never catch man flu again.
Spark and Mensa, because nothing says sexy like a neck-high jumper.
The Dex Legacy on Lave Radio, broadcasting to every corner of the galaxy.
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
And welcome back. That was a bit of a surprise, Psykit. You never told us you'd done one of those.
I did. I mentioned it. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Radio 7 album. But you know what would be amazing if we all have conversations and we actually listen to each other. You might have heard that information.
I'm managing 6 things all at once at the moment, mostly the dot system. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the response that people have had to the live stream 8, which we'll cover update 12. Now, obviously, I thought, Psykit, we'll start with you. I mean, what's your overall impression about what's coming? Do you think is it good enough? You think for to keep your interest?
I mean, that's a very loaded question, Colin. I'm very happy with the stuff that they've shown us, like with being able to sit down and access menus and stuff is a definite.
Yeah.
The thing with it is they could have literally come out and said we're doing so many more things, we're doing a lot of so much more stuff than what we got on that thing, and there would have still been people that were upset. And that's not negating if people are disappointed with that. It might be an opportune time to lower your expectations at this point. I say in the most diplomatic way that I can. I'm really stoked. I really am excited to try the new mission.
You're going to try it? Because
yeah, of course I am.
Yeah, right.
Of course I am. I really, because I mean it's doing crimes, and I quite like doing the crimes. So if it shows up, which I'm expecting it to be another one of these missions that shows up really rarely. I've only had a couple of opportunities to do the defend missions because they have such a small window.
Yeah.
So I'd quite like. I hope that I get the opportunity to do it a couple of times and form a good opinion on it. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing a nice long list of patches and little things, and seeing what Frontier have found to be the stuff that they've been able to fix, and maybe look at some of the things that are notable by their absence. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, it's those well over 100 bug fixes. We're wanting to know what the bug fixes are. Yeah, I think people really want to know the detail on that, and I guess we will have to wait and see. Ben, what did you think to the news of Live Update 8?
Yeah, I don't want to say be a downer, but sit down and I can issue commands. Whoopee fucking do. You know, why? It's a good thing. I think it's good that it's in there.
Yeah.
Not exactly filling me with enthusiasm, though. It's like, yay, I can use a menu while I'm sitting down now. That's good. Why couldn't I do that originally? On the other hand, like Sai said, the new mission looks like it's a lot of fun, and the work they've put into that looks like a lot of fun. I hope there's a way to make it more common somehow. I don't know how you can do that without funging the BGS stuff or something, but
yeah. I mean, they have made one modification which I thought was surprising. You now get more money for handing things, for selling illegal goods in the black market.
But again, that's not exactly weeks worth of development time.
You wouldn't thought so. I mean, ironically, this is something that I really get a little bit annoyed about, is that I thought that goods on the black market would go for a lot more than what you actually get, especially if it's in a high demand in that system.
Mm.
And it's just, I don't know, it just feels wrong somehow that crime doesn't pay.
Yeah.
It sure is fun though.
Oh, it might be fun, but it should pay as well.
But I do think that Frontier definitely took an approach a wee while back that we can make things fun or we can make them pay, but never twain shall meet.
Yeah.
Alice Kremen is very gently reminding everybody that what they showed isn't everything. So yeah, we do need to remember that. It'll be interesting to see what bugs they've gone off and fixed, because they've got pages and pages and pages of that.
Yeah.
But the announced features don't exactly do it for me.
Understandable. Okay. Shan.
As for the new mission type, I think I'll give it a go. Obviously, you need to approach these things with an open mind. So yeah, I'll give the mission. I'll give the mission a go. See what it's like. More money for illegal goods. I get where you're coming from, Colin. But I think one thing I would say about the general tone of it is that Elite is now 8 years old. So when you, as Sai said, when you look at your expectations, I don't think you should be measuring patches for a game that's 6 or under a year old. You should be looking at what other games are doing that's 8 years old or older, and assess it through.
You mean like Guild Wars 2?
I wasn't going to mention that
I was
because
just sick in my mouth. I can't drink anymore tonight.
Yeah, but actually, you don't have to drink anything because Ben said it.
Yeah, Ben said it. I didn't say it at all. So I think I'm trying to be a bit sort of neutral about it. Really, by saying you need to measure it against where it is in a game's lifespan. The 100 bug fixes will be interesting because what I would like to see done is the list of bugs they were going to be working on in the bug tracker, and then compare it to the list of bugs they have fixed. Because in previous releases, they gave like this bug fixed in release 9, this bug fixed in whatever. It would be interesting to see that list compared to what these bugs are being fixed.
Yeah, I know, because there's a couple of really small, irritating bugs that I deal with an awful lot, mostly to do with the system map not working as it should, and it's. I've reported it on the bug tracker. It's not being picked up, but I'm hoping that there's little irritating Git ones like that can just be knocked off the list. Psykit.
There's normally at the end of it, there's normally like that section where on like a oh my god, I've said this like 4 times today, and the thing that Sally usually does, but it's likely to not be Sally because she's still recovering. Get well soon, Sally. We love you very much.
Amen.
What's it called? The thing that they post that we're all looking forward to seeing. On the day of the patch notes. Oh my god! I think something just happened to me. Then I'm not comfortable with it.
Did you just have a brain fluctuance noise?
Full brain fart right at the bottom of the patch notes. They tend to put things that, like the things that they've done before. They put a thing where they say, we are aware of this kind of stuff, but we're still looking at that and it's not included in this notes. That is the thing that I'm the most interested in. I'd love to see what they are aware of, what they're working on, and what hopefully we can update in the future, that kind of thing. Holy crap, I don't know what just happened to me.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to be the one to break it to you here, Psykit. You just had your first.
I had a Colin moment, didn't I?
No, you've had a senior moment.
Mate, I'm not even 40 yet. Don't let me have that.
Too late. It's a senior moment. Welcome to the club.
Oh, no. This is you guys. You guys have put years on me.
You'll be going grey next.
Yeah, I was 18.
18. I was 18 years when I went grey.
So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to update 12. I think because it will be the bug fix, and it's the small things that I think. I mean, Ben was probably it was a bit grumpy. I'll say, well, sitting down, so what? But to some people, being able to sit down and interact with things is something that will bring the game to life for them. So yeah, I don't know. I think for an 8-year-old game, it's okay.
Yes, I've just asked for a vote in the chat. I think today's episode should be Psykit needs a reboot.
Control outside Psykit.
Giving Psykit the 3-fingered salute.
We are not giving Psykit any 3-fingered salutes. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think she will have words if we try that.
That's just Control-Alt-Delete. You're not thinking of anything else.
Yeah, and we're just going to keep it. Psykit needs a reboot, and nothing about 3 fingers. Okay?
Oh God!
No one brought
you just made it worse.
You
just made it worse. Oh dear. Anyway,
this isn't Psykit Smut Corner, Ben.
Every corner's the Psykit Smut Corner.
You're right.
Oh dear. Yeah. I mean, is there? I've just unleashed about this Blooming Galaxy map bug, this system map bug that I have to deal with. Is there any individual bug that you'd hope that is on this list and has been squashed? Oh, Shan said yes straight away. Go on, Shan.
Well, I'm not sure. It probably doesn't affect that many people, but I have 2 screens in front of my PC, and if I'm using the mouse to click on menu items or try and scroll on the Galaxy map or things like that, if my mouse goes onto the other screen, it just messes the display up. The mouse doesn't stick to one screen. It then scrolls across to the other and gets in the way. So yeah, it really bugs me. Didn't used to do it. It used to be fine, but since they updated it, it just makes it a real pain.
Yeah, it's a bit. Oh. Ben, is there one bug that you're hoping that's on the list?
Honestly, it's not really a bug. It's just don't have bloody bars with liquids in them without at least a sippy cup.
Yeah, we've all got that
sippy
one.
Cups for 0G stations, and I'll be happier.
Oh, that's up there with the Tin Isla graveyard, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Which we'll touch on later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Psykit, is there one little bug that you're hoping that's on the list?
Bug?
Yes.
That is on the, I don't know. I don't. Nothing that I can think of that is something that makes the game literally unplayable for me.
Yeah.
I would like to see an option for a hotkey for Super Cruise Assist.
That would be lovely. I would love to see that kind of thing in there, along with a looking for wing function. But
quality of life, not bugs, though, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, that would be like not necessarily a bug, just something that gripes me that there isn't one there. I'd like to have that, and I'd also like multi-jump routing in fleet carriers, and I'd also very much like.
And that's a feature, though, not a bug.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting away from bugs. Just things these things bug me, Ben.
That kind of bug.
And I'd like to be able to transfer, to have the opportunity to tell my men who are my lads on my fleet carrier to transfer the fuel from the storage in the fleet carrier to the fuel in the fleet carrier without having to use my ship as a
Oh, hell yes.
Oh, there's
there you go. Those are the bugs that I want fixing.
I'll agree with Little Biggin in the chat, because one thing, especially with my trip to Colonia, in Odyssey, the route map, when you actually, it doesn't stay consistent. It disappears from time to time, and it's in Horizons you could keep that blooming route map over several game sessions without it being a problem, and then it is just one of those little pains in the butt. So yeah. If you're listening, Frontier, then yeah, those we're hoping those are on the list. As far as the whole Frameshift live presentation went, I thought that it was really well put together. I think obviously the fact that they've had more time to prepare really did help. I mean, yeah, there was the usual fluff towards the end of it, and I think they do talk a little bit too much about Twitch drops. But apart from that, I thought that the whole presentation for Frameshift Live was actually a mark above, because they actually put something in there that was, yeah, you felt there was substance. Psykit.
I think a lot of it is definitely to do with the having 2 weeks, because can confirm if you've got a scheduled thing that you are and making sure that you're putting out content for, it's a lot easier to go 2 weeks than it is to do it on a weekly. When you want to make sure that there were interviews and other things like that, and all scheduling and all of those kind of things, making something 2 weekly is going to be great. I think a lot of it is down to the fact that they've got this producer in as well.
Yeah.
And having someone on staff who is there to facilitate a lot more of a smoothness while the live streams are going on. It's been such a breath of fresh air to see them come back to their studios and do those kind of things. I really like it. It's interesting. I'm going to be very interesting to see how long that they maintain this.
Yes, I mean, I must admit, I'm hoping that they do. Ben,
I have to admit, I mean, I liked the old couch set that they used, rather than having the two guys in front of a green screen.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I prefer the two guys in front of the green screen kind of thing. I do prefer that to the.
I think the reason why I prefer the real set is, every streamer and their dog can sit in front of a green screen and change their backgrounds and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the physicality of the couches that they had with the knickknacks and the things that they had in there, that was always interesting to see, and they always changed it up a little bit.
They still have that set.
I'm sure they do.
That set hasn't gone anywhere, because their Warhammer stuff is being, well, the last things I watched. Sorry, Paul, I've been busy, but the last thing the last things I watched all came from that set. Yeah, so I wonder what the decision process was behind that, because I can see bonuses to each way.
Yeah, I mean, they could have even if they just had something like the interview with Tom on the couches rather than in a generic meeting room.
I imagine the reason that is because something else was going on in that room at the time.
Possibly.
Yeah. Shan?
I like the original broom cupboard they had with Ed Lewis. I thought it worked
Philip
quite...
Schofield.
Yeah,
No.
he's just missing Gordon the golfer, isn't he?
No. The first set of streams Ed did, where it was just like a green screen with a background. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't pretentious. It wasn't saying here's something artificial. It's here's just a guy enjoying the game with his mates kind of look, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, Ed's presentation style was a lot more personal, and I think it was a different time then. Now things are a little bit more, I shall put it, frantic. There's more to the game than there was then, which is ironic, really. Go on, Ben. What do you want to talk about, Zach?
Yeah, I actually just want to say something that was one of the questions I think it was on this week's stream that they were asked was how they got into Frontier and things like that.
Mm.
And I was so impressed at Zach for trying to join Frontier, changing what he did, trying to join Frontier, adding more experience, trying to join Frontier, more experience, trying to join Frontier, more experience. And I thought the persistence and the dedication Zach has shown to getting into Frontier, that needs a full-on /salute, I think.
So I didn't recall that bit. So what did he do? Would he sort of start out as a...
He basically he just kept getting more... He just kept getting... He applied to join Frontier and didn't sort of get an interview, got more experience, applied to join Frontier again, didn't get an interview, applied to join Frontier. I don't know the full story because it's nothing to do with any of us, but he applied to join Frontier as a CM many, many, many times apparently, and full kudos to him for that.
He was saying that the things that he did were stuff like work, or even if it's just working on something on a personal level, like
doing his own Twitch
doing his
stream
own
stuff.
streams and doing sort of like and just gaining more experience within the industry. And he kept he would keep going for it and not getting it and not being concerned about it. And I think that's something that's really echoed a lot across the game, especially in game development. Game development is a really difficult industry to get into, especially as something that's other than a tester. So it's really for people who are looking to get into that. I found it really fascinating and something really just something to keep in the back of my mind. Like when something happens, or if you get a no from somewhere, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just do something else and then try again.
Yeah. Anyway, I think what we're going to do is wrap this conversation up here and move over to what's been happening in the community corner. And, well, let's get it out of the way. I was utterly humiliated by the latest Buckyball run. 28th out of 29 people. I have nothing but pure shame. I can only apologise, and I deserve to be laughed at. I think I might as well have done it in an adder.
Oh, you had a go, Colin. As long as you had a go, it's all good.
Yeah, it's not good because basically I would have had a much better time if I hadn't have sold that one extra ton of beer mats at the furthest point away, and I just could not get back to do another run. It's one of those moments where you think I'm doing great, I'm gonna finally hit the top 10, and then
that was one of the worst things about it, was having that muscle memory to remember to just sell one every time.
I have an issue with the joystick. The joystick actually, sometimes the fire button fires a double click instead of a normal one. It's something I'm having to deal with, and yeah.
You know what they say about a bad workman, Colin?
No, I'm going to stick up for Colin here, actually.
Oh no, because my humiliation is on YouTube. It's on Twitch. It's fully there for everybody to see.
Yeah, but Colin, what you have to realise is that, as I said, at least you turned up and had a go. There were thousands of other players who think, "Nah, I can't bother with that, or I can't do any good," or you had a go, and that's the important thing. You deserve a badge saying, "I had a go."
God's truth. I think, here, have a wooden spoon. Yeah. So for those of you who are interested in the Buckyball, the Buckyball was organised by our Psykit, and yes, did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I'm glad I took a week off after it because I needed it. Like, I must admit, the whole of, I think it was the Wednesday of my my time off, most of that was watching other people's runs. Brewski did an amazing thing with he's got like a whole YouTube video about how he worked it out, but he plotted individual jumps. Use Super Cruise Assist, because Super Cruise Assist I hadn't excluded from the rules, but his run was fascinating, and he did it in what I would have classed as an inhuman time before this is on the unlimited run, of course. But it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I'm very much looking forward to the next one, which is the Seven Sisters Speedway, which is happening on June the 11th. Because apparently they just don't stop this year.
It's like the Formula One at the moment. I'm really enjoying the Formula One, and then on top of this, in Elite World, I'm taking part in the Buckyballs, which come round a lot faster than I was expecting.
So you're doing as well as Mercedes, then?
Oh no, I'm doing worse than Mercedes. I really am. I'm down there with Williams at the moment.
You are the Nicholas Latifi of Buckyball.
Oh, that's cruel.
When I said it, I was like, that's so mean. I'm so sorry, Colin.
It's almost as bad as saying you're the
not sorry at all. That's the worst thing I've ever said to you. I am so sorry.
At least it's not the Mazapan. Oh dear. Yes, I'd launch and then spin into the side of the station. Anyway, yes. So I think I've got to thank Commander Homburger for actually being worse than me. So you can't give me the wooden spoon. Yeah, it's only the last person that gets the wooden spoon. So yeah. So again, Commander Shane Blackwood came first with Sugger and Brewski taking second and third in the regulation Cobra section, and we have Commander Brewski and the aforementioned, followed by Shane Blackwood and Commander MO in the unlimited section. You did quite well yourself, didn't you, Psykit?
It don't really matter because organisers only get 1 point anyway. But just for clarification, it's Shay Blackwood and Captain MD, not MO. The font is a little tricky to read though, so
that's a little unfair.
I'm just clarifying, Colin. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just clarifying the names.
Yeah, great. Hey, have a wooden spoon and some new, stronger glasses. Thanks. In addition to that, Alec Turner, with the help of Commander Tokuso, put together a Buckyball Racers video, which I think was fantastic because it reminded me of the Jam so much. We'll put a link in the show notes, and yeah, you've got to watch it. It's great fun. So yeah, when's the next Buckyball then?
11th of June, I believe.
Excellent.
So yeah, like what is that? Like 3 weeks? 2 weeks? Great! 2 weeks on Saturday.
Excellent. I mean, I must admit, so far I have really enjoyed this. I didn't think I thought I'd only just take part every now and again, but it really has got underneath my skin. This. It's yeah.
It's incredibly Moorish.
That's one way of looking at it. And apparently we're still all joint 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Although technically you've done a lot faster times than me, which is why you're higher up in amongst the 12s.
I'm the best 12th place person. Not that it matters because I'm still 12. I'd like to. My aim is there's 4 more races left. My aim is to, for at least one of them, A, be Epiphus, and B, be in a position of getting more than 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'd like to be out of the 1 point club just for once. That was one of the reasons why I was really upset about what happened. Oh, yeah, the adder of shame. Anyway, moving on from there, Obsidian Ant put out an interesting video. He's changing his format to the video slightly by focusing on some things which are missing from Elite Dangerous to some things which are in Elite Dangerous but really, really good. So the subject of this week's video was Elite Dangerous - Missing in Action, and it's Ben's favourite. That's the Tia Nisla Graveyard.
Why is that not in game? We've got all the art assets in game. Put it in the Lagrange 1 point between Tia Nisla and the sun, and chuck in some Rex. If you can, make some Star of Davids and various other religious icons, including non-denominational ones, if you can. I wish that were in game. I so do.
And put the player memorials in there.
Why the hell they aren't there? I don't know. It's the obvious place for it.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, when they said that the player memorials were going in,
I know.
We're just looking at each other, going, "Well, okay, thanks for putting them in, but why didn't you?" You see, the thing is, I don't know whether or not the writers or I don't know whether they've got to avoid putting things in to do with the Dark Wheel due to legal issues. There does seem, although there does seem to be. I mean, I remember when I was working with Dave Hughes on the First Encounters role playing game. Dave had legal problems with people claiming to have the copyright and involving anything to do with.
But I thought that was Ian Bell and
I wasn't actually going to mention the names there, Ben. But
that's got nothing to do with Robert Holstock and his book.
Well, it has actually, because that. Yeah, it has, because it has got something to do with the fact it was published under the Acorn name, and there's legal entanglements that they are making claims on, and I think if they try and put something in, then
I hope you're wrong, but you might be right.
Surely it doesn't have to be in Tia Nisla though. Sure, they could put it in Diesel or Lave, and then just kind of.
Did you just pronounce Lave as
Yes,
Lave?
he did.
You know the show's called Lave Radio, just to clarify.
Yeah, but I've always called it Lave. When I first started playing the game, back when it was out, I'd never called it Lave. I always called it Lave, so it just spills over. But anyway, the point is, you needn't have it in Tia Nisla. You could have it somewhere else.
No, but that's the point.
And then it wouldn't be the Tia Nisla Graveyard.
Yeah, but everybody wants the Tia Nisla Graveyard.
Yeah.
Well, not every. I don't mean to presume.
A lot of OG places.
Everybody.
A lot of the OG 84ers would appreciate the Tia Nisla Graveyard. Yes.
Yes, and it's the question that you always ask.
Oh yeah, and I will always ask. To be fair to Shan, even David Braben doesn't pronounce Lave correctly.
Well, that's on Braben.
And it's on Shan as well.
Someone will be able to pronounce the name of a show that they're supposedly on.
Well, it could be worse. It could be all right. We're all living in Lave.
Welcome to Lave Radio, where we have a Waitrose and a card delivery.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you dare diss Waitrose. Wait.
I'm not dissing Waitrose.
And Marks and Spencer as well. Love their sandwiches. But anyway.
I do like Marks and Spencer's seeded bread. That's very nice.
Right. Well, I think we'll move on from that before things get a little bit.
And at least it's not a cobra.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just going to comment on the OA's thing. I like his idea of where it goes sort of like a plus and a minus, but personally, I would have gone for a plus before having a minus. So I would have started on an upbeat tone rather than a negative tone. But anyway, I don't make the videos, so.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from there, Shan. I'm just checking the community events just to see if there's anything happening at the moment. No, I'm afraid to say there doesn't seem to be anything happening for the rest of this month in May. Not on the community tracker, anyway.
That's something that Frontier actually mentioned on Thursday's stream too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's like really,
it's a bit quiet.
There was so much stuff would go on, like as soon as it came out, and up until sort of mid-May, there's been so much activity, and I think part and parcel, it might just be due to it being like holiday season.
Yeah.
As well, people look when it gets warmer. Not us stalwart gamers, but there are other people that apparently go out of their houses.
Yes, I know. Well, at least we'll be able to put in the next Buckyball on June the 11th, so that'll be good. Go on, question. Go on, Shan. You got a question about events?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Frontier missed a trick here by not having like the Emperor's Jubilee or making a series of events to kind of reflect what's happening in the UK at the moment. Just kind of like a bit of fun, a bit of celebration.
Oh God, no! Because then the people will be like, "Why aren't you doing it for America? Or why aren't you doing it for France or Germany or wherever?"
Well, it's their fault. They decided to get rid of the monarchy. So if they don't want to celebrate a monarch jubilee, then more fool them, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go then. Right. I think we will move on from the community corner to mostly Clueless. Well, this is something that I put in. Because I've been doing a lot of orbiting of planets, I thought I'd say that if you need to orbit a planet quickly, keep your ship's pitch between -5 and +5 degrees, i.e. the blue zone, and you will get a speed boost as you orbit the planet. Obviously, the higher you are on the planet, the faster you will go, so it's advantageous to do a kind of orbital loop if you need to get from one side of the planet to another. I mean, I normally find it quicker to use that blue boost, if you like, instead of actually going out of orbit and then flying back in to orbit, if you see what I mean. Any other business? Well, we have had an email from Domzilla
2112.
Yes. And he says, further to episode 390, mostly Clueless, regarding leveling up engineers with cartographic details. It was something I'd heard of but never tried. I've just landed at Bill Turner and there doesn't seem to be any option to hand in cartographic data, so I'll have to assume what I heard was bogus. Also, being on the Xbox, I'm extremely interested in Ben's quest for knowledge regarding the GeForce streaming on Xbox. But also, he's got an older laptop and wondered if using the GeForce on the laptop was an option too.
Yes to both, and I think we covered it last week, really, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. Ben, you have more.
Oh, can I comment on that mostly Clueless very quickly?
Oh, yeah, quickly.
It's not completely bogus. As far as I'm aware, if they have the option to give cartographic data, you can level up with them. Not every engineer does.
Right.
Because from personal experience, I've definitely done it with one of them. But evidently, it doesn't look like Bill. Chatting like he's my old mate. This Bill, this Kevin,
Derek.
Yeah, but fuck Kevin, all right. He knows what he did.
He should be now forevermore known as Dead Derek.
But clearly Bill doesn't have it available. I swear I've been able to do it before.
Right. Ben, you have...
Yeah, so I know we're doing stuff to do with the Dex Legacy at the moment, and massive shout out to them for their audio drama. But I also found another audio drama on just came on my podcast, which was Marvel's Squirrel Girl: The Unbeatable Radio Show, and it's a series of 6 half-hour audio dramas that is absolutely delightful and hilarious to listen to if you've got sort of a half hour of time in your day. It's absolutely adorable. Yeah, listen. If you like audio drama, give it a listen. And you like Marvel stuff.
Yeah. Apparently, any other business, Odyssey is now currently 40% off in Steam.
And on Epic.
But not on the Frontier Store.
That is annoying that happens quite often. It's also, I believe, Elite Dangerous Horizons, technically now, is available for $4.99.
Oh, that's actually... Oh, if you want an extra account, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Shan?
Yeah, I was just going to reply to Cassiana in chat. Yeah, Cartier Graphics is exactly how I say it. How did you know?
I think she was commenting because that's how Colin pronounced it, and that was what the joke was. Never mind.
Yeah.
That would involve you listening to what somebody else said, Shan. So.
Oh no, because Colin said it normally. Colin said it normally. I didn't register.
Well, it's pretty much the vocal equivalent of Russian roulette, my pronunciations. So we'll just have to move on from that.
We just sit and wait and wonder what's going to come out. It's quite the exciting time, actually.
As usual, I need a tongue transplant. This one doesn't seem to fit. Anyway, No Man's Sky apparently is on sale at the moment as well. But we shall move on to the shoutouts. Episode 2 of the Dex Legacy, The Hunt, will premiere on Lave Radio next week. That's the 31st of the 5th at 8 o'clock before our show. More information you can find at thedexlegacy.com. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30. Tune in at twitch.tv Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. And one thing that I'm going to try to do, especially this weekend, is at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, 8 p.m. GMT, or British Summertime, the Loose Screws get together and start doing a CQC session. And one of these days, I will turn up and I will get massacred by the Cheese Master Chig and probably Musketeer as well. But I am determined at one point to turn up. We'll also give shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts, which are Allegrab AM, there's the Canon podcast, Spanish speakers have the Elitacast, there's the Fatherhood podcast, Flight Assist. Who's on Flight Assist this week?
I mean, it's Commander Chig. You literally just mentioned him.
Well, there you go. The Cheese Master himself.
He's getting about a bit, isn't he?
He is a bit. We have the Guard Frequency, who do other space sims, and now anything space, apparently. Loose Screws, featuring the aforementioned Commander Chig, Squeaking Fuel, and System Chat. For those who want a literary discussion, there is the Data State podcast, which is created by Alan Stroud when he's able to, because he's very busy. And following this, we have a Galnet News Digest as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. All right, we'd like to thank all those who have chipped in on the Twitch chat and any in-game commanders. Chris, have you had many people run around? Oh, Chris isn't here, is he? Well, we have to thank Chris, Mark.
Chris has been running around with Miggles.
Miggles,
and
obviously 88.
Oblivious. Oh, you got it, Colin.
Yeah, Obvious 88 and Cyber Hunter.
Oblivious.
Still oblivious.
Oblivious. Oh, God. Yeah, obviously
I think an
Oblivious.
eye transplant might be underway as well.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to. It feels wrong. I know I'm defending Colin here, Sai, but remember that you had Colin's tongue when you were hosting. We've all had a Colin Thompson.
What? Oh no.
Yeah, no, I just like had perpetual brain farts. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. It's been a while now.
Yeah. Reading is hard, isn't it, Colin?
Yeah, well, we've got to get check up on system chat because Wintermute is saying that they folded a long time ago. And of course, for anybody who's a Star Wars fan, who's looking forward to Friday?
Well, it's a double on Friday, isn't it?
People in the UK can't watch Star Wars, I thought. Oh, no, not right. Not Star Wars.
Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Star Trek, Strange New Worlds.
Oh yeah,
we can't watch that.
Hang on. You just mixed up Star Wars and Star Trek, and you're having a go at me for having a.
Oh, shut up, Harry Potter!
Bloody hell!
Get back in your bloody TARDIS.
Yeah, that's it. Daniel Radcliffe for the next Doctor. That's what we want.
Talking about TV, if you've seen today's Better Call Saul episode, absolutely stunning. Brilliant episode.
Oh. Right, well, we'll also say special thanks to Commander Tokuso, JN Trax, and Helen Stroud, who have all created music for this show. So that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, then you can email info@laveradio.com, hit us up at facebook.com/Lave Radio, tweet us at Lave Radio, and you can join our Discord server by going to discord.io/Lave Radio. We also have a TeamSpeak server where commanders like to hang out and chat, and you can find that at teamspeak.laveradio.com. Now, do get in touch if you've got any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com. So thanks to Shan, thanks to Ben, thanks to Psykit, and of course special thanks goes to today's tech specialist, Commander Ventura, and also the Chris Mark for stepping into streaming duties for this evening. But until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. You need a safe word. Space can be low. I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
I'm Mr. Dusty. Give me your trash.
Galnet News Digest, 24th of May 3308. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, with Salvation promising that the end of the war against the Thargoids is finally in reach, we speculate about what that might actually mean. An end to all Thargoids? Thargoids and humans living peacefully together? A damp squib? Or something more sinister?
We have known that we're not alone in the galaxy for more than 250 years. Strange, organic, octagonal spaceships were spotted as early as 3050. That they were hostile was beyond doubt, but they proved elusive. History is unclear about the circumstances surrounding the first big war with Thargoids in the 3100s, but it is clear that an organisation rather pompously called the Intergalactic Naval Reserve Arm, INRAR, developed something called the mycoid virus, a fungal payload carried by a virus that brought the war to an end overnight, probably in 3193. The crash site of John Jameson's Cobra Mark III that carried the payload to the heart of the Thargoid war machine can be visited in the HIP 12099 system, Planet 1b, and the voice notes found there confirm this event actually happened. The earliest reliably documented encounter with Thargoids was 82 years earlier, in 3111. A research base on Musca-Dark region PJ-P B6-1 Planet 3 discovered active, so-called barnacle sites. The operation was swiftly taken over by an organisation called Azimuth Biochemicals, which saw the potential for creating weaponry for use in conflict between humans, from the alien technology discovered there. Only 2 years later, a research group working for Azimuth Biochemicals on Trapezium Sector YU-X, C1-2 Planet 1A, the site of an ancient battle between Thargoids and another alien species, the Guardians, managed to create a working and devastating weapon using Guardian artefacts recovered from the battlefield. They didn't manage to control the power of the weapon and killed themselves while testing it. The knowledge of their discovery lay unknown to the rest of humanity for nearly 200 years.
After a long time absent, Thargoids began to cause problems for humanity in 3302 and 3303, after humanity established its first bases in the Pleiades Nebula. The rediscovery of Thargoid barnacles and their potent meta-alloy fruit encouraged settlement in the Pleiades, an area that turned out to be already populated by Thargoids, who appeared none too pleased that humans were stealing their crops. Once again it was Azimuth Biochemicals who encountered the Thargoids first, and this time they had a different crazy scheme to weaponize alien technology by splicing humans into the neural networks of Thargoid Scout spacecraft, allowing humanity to fight back against the Thargoids using Thargoid technology. The scientist in charge of these trials, Professor Thomas Dorn, appears to have had little regard for the human test subjects that died during his ultimately unsuccessful experiments. The mysterious sponsor of the Azimuth research program, known only as the Witch, called a halt to the research program when the larger Thargoid interceptor ships started arriving in greater numbers, and when the news of the Thargoids' return became common knowledge. Aegis Research and Defence was established by the superpowers to investigate the aliens and to protect humanity. Aegis developed a number of ship-scale weapons using Guardian technology, and these have allowed humanity to drive back repeated waves of Thargoids. Last year, in April 3307, the mysterious scientist Salvation popped up out of nowhere, asking for help to find the sister ship of the Adamastor, a 200-year-old ghost ship that had once belonged to Azimuth Biochemicals, and that had been sent to investigate the first Thargoid barnacle sightings all those years ago. Following a trail to the Hesperus and then to its tender, the Anaconda Proteus, Salvation used Commander's ingenuity to rediscover the 200-year-old prototype weapon in the Trapezium sector that used Guardian technology and that had killed the people that built it. Both Aegis and Salvation suddenly started showing a lot of interest in gathering as much Guardian technology as they possibly could. The fully laden Aegis megaship Alexandria was sabotaged and pirated for its cargo of Guardian artifacts, apparently by agents working for Azimuth Biochemicals and by the mysterious Witch, leaving Aegis with little credibility and without the means to research new anti-Thargoid weapons. Commanders flocked to help Salvation gather Guardian technology, leaving Aegis largely sidelined.
It is unclear what Azimuth needed Guardian technology for, but Salvation found himself with plentiful stocks of the alien devices, and he used them to build a star system-sized superweapon based on that 200-year-old Azimuth prototype. He appears to have lured Thargoids to invade the Cornstar system by seeding it with Guardian materials so he could try out his new weapon. On the 20th of September, the first firing of Salvation's superweapon wiped the Cornstar system clear of Thargoids, leaving a large number of wrecked Thargoid ships on planets throughout the system. He used the same technology 3 more times in the Pleiades in December 3307, with Delphi, Maya and Merope being cleared of the majority of Thargoids. Some of the former leaders of the by now disbanded Aegis, Professor Albert Tesreau of the Research Division and Admiral Aidan Tanner of the Defence Organisation expressed deep disquiet about the methods Salvation was using, suggesting that the weaponry was unsafe, untested and unethical. Tanner was arrested and court-martialed after losing the megaship Musashi, while trying to extract information about Salvation from Taurus Mining Ventures in the T-Tauri system. Tesreau worked with engineer and Guardian weapons specialist Ram Tar to reverse engineer Salvation's technology. They discovered that it uses a massive electromagnetic pulse that can be tuned to affect different technologies, and called for greater independent scrutiny over Salvation's work. Nonetheless, Salvation pressed on. Proclaiming Aegis to be finished, Salvation said that at some time this year, 3308, he will unleash a weapon so powerful that it will change the course of the war with the Thargoids. He's not yet lived up to this boast, although he did recently use the superweapon 3 more times in Sosong, Didio and Novus, actions that consolidated the superpowers' support for Salvation completely. The superpowers are now entirely dependent on Salvation to deliver on his promise, the Alliance's deal with Sirius Corporation notwithstanding, although independent anti-Xeno squadrons and pilots have cleared a number of systems, most recently HIP 38226 and very soon Paucuman, without assistance from Salvation.
So at some point, possibly very soon, Salvation is going to fire his reworked superweapon, an end to conflict between humans and the Thargoids. What exactly is going to happen? It's not clear if the weapon will affect all Thargoids throughout the galaxy, or if it'll still operate one system at a time. It's not clear if the weapon will destroy Thargoids, or just make things unpleasant for them to make them run away. It's not clear, actually, what level of control Salvation has over the Thargoids. Salvation's first problem is that there are actually no systems suffering from Thargoid incursion, if we discount the small number of non-human signal sources in Paucuman. It's not going to look too good if he fires his superweapon and nobody notices the effect, because there weren't any Thargoids there in the first place. So, will he pull the Cornstar gag again and plant Guardian materials to lure the Thargoids into a prominent system? And if so, can we really say that the Thargoids are a significant threat, if we have to bait them to get them to attack? But in any case, assuming there are Thargoids for Salvation to attack, what are the likely outcomes? The best outcome for Salvation might be the total annihilation of the Thargoids, an extinction-level event brought about using his technology. No more Thargoids. The Call 70 sector might be opened up, and we could gaze in awe at the ruins of a once great civilization, and perhaps we might just feel a little guilty. Folk would talk of Salvation and how he managed to do what John Jameson failed to do 120 years ago, and the Anti-Xeno Initiative and all the other Anti-Xeno combat pilots and Operation Ida and those who rescue people from burning stations would have to find something else to do. We would be alone in the galaxy once again. Salvation would have an enormous superweapon that would be utterly useless, unless he tuned it to be effective against human ships.
What if the weapon doesn't work? Or if it only works partially? At the very least, there are likely to be recriminations for those that chose to abandon Aegis and put their faith solely in Salvation, including the 3 superpowers. With Aegis shut down, if Salvation fails to deliver, humanity will be defenceless against the Thargoids, except for those independent pilots that continued to fight the Thargoids in ship-to-ship combat. Would Aegis be reinstated? How long would it take? And what if the Thargoids respond with bigger and better ships? Perhaps those motherships we've heard rumours of, huge carriers with hundreds, possibly thousands of smaller Thargoid ships, and with huge weapons capable of destroying surface installations. Perhaps we'll see more advanced forms of interceptor, or perhaps we'll see new mutations of existing ships and weapons. Perhaps the interceptors will lose their patience with human ships and will shoot on sight, rather than being gently curious. Perhaps the Thargoids will develop an interest in taking over or destroying human bases, not just damaging them, properly destroying them. Will settlements get wiped out by marauding bands of Thargoids? And if they have to adapt to a Guardian hybrid superweapon by developing countermeasures, will the effectiveness of Ramtar's and Aegis's smaller Guardian-based technology also decrease? Will fighting the Thargoids get harder?
But perhaps Salvation isn't planning to annihilate the Thargoids. Perhaps he believes that by threatening them with his very large weapon, he can persuade them to live peacefully with humanity. It sounds a bit unlikely given the written record of how the Guardians failed to negotiate with the Thargoids millions of years ago. Perhaps Salvation is seeking galactic peace, a time of prosperity, where we can trade occupied escape pods for meta-alloys, and where all species can benefit through mutual trade and cooperation. Perhaps. If Salvation were not impeccably trustworthy, and if he didn't have humanity's best interests at heart, which we're all sure he does, and if Salvation can control the Thargoids with a combination of Guardian materials as a lure and his super weapon to scare them off, he would be in an excellent position to blackmail whole systems with the threat of Thargoid infestation. Using Thargoids as his puppets, Salvation could hold humanity to ransom. Or what if he's in a position to complete Professor Thomas Dorn's research and can have a fleet of human-operated Thargoid scouts? Perhaps then he wouldn't even need to control the real Thargoids, and if he can tune his superweapon to knock out human ships, that would give evil Salvation yet another string to his supervillain bow. Perhaps Salvation plans to enslave the human race. Perhaps, when he talks of an end to conflict, he means that both Thargoids and humanity will be working together for Salvation's evil empire. We don't even know who Salvation is. Does he have anything to do with Azimuth Biochemicals and the Witch? Does he work for the club that some people believe already runs the galaxy? Is he even a person at all? Perhaps he's a Thargoid, intent on gaining our trust, getting us to drop our defences, and then wiping us out. So, can we trust Salvation with our destiny? If we do, and it seems as though the superpowers have put all their anti-Xeno eggs into Salvation's basket, then we'd better start hoping he's not going to provoke fiercer retaliation from the Thargoids, or attempt to take humanity hostage, or establish an evil empire with all the species of the galaxy under his totalitarian rule. And we'd better hope he's not a Thargoid.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.
If you're enjoying the Dex Legacy on Lave Radio, please visit our website at www.thedexlegacy.com, where you can find out all about our cast, buy merch, support the show, and access bonus materials.